You're listening to Late Night Talks with Pastor Chris Alston.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? How's it going? How's it going? As always, it's not what they call me, it's not what you call me, but as always, it's simply who I answer to. Greetings and salutations, Facebook. Greetings and salutations to YouTube. My name is Chris Alston, and welcome to episode 6 of Late Night Talks with Pastor Chris Alston. And tonight, we are joined by an extraordinary human being, a good brother by the name of Tavaras Jordan, a multi-platinum producer, an R&B innovator, in my opinion, originally from Johnsonville, North Carolina. Johnsonville in the house this evening. So my man Tavaras' musical journey began at just the tender age of 6 years old, playing drums in his local church. I dig that a lot, bro. Gospel foundation that still echoes through his soulful 90s inspired sound today. A 2015 graduate of East Carolina University, Tavaras spent a decade perfecting his craft, moving from composing for major TV franchises to becoming a cornerstone of the underground scene. His career reached a new stratosphere with his global hit. You might be a little familiar with it, maybe or maybe not. Heart of a Woman by Summer Walker, earning him his first platinum certification and 2 Grammy nominations. But beyond the plaques, Tavaras is a man whose career is a testament to faith, patience, and divine timing. I welcome to some and introduce to many the good brother, Tavaras Jordan. Welcome to the show, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely. So before we get into this, before we really get into this, man, let's kind of start from the beginning, if you don't mind. Let's start from the beginning. So I want to deal with, because I am Pastor Chris Alston, I want to deal with the anointing behind your gift, right? You started on the drums at the age of 6, real young in the
Yes, sir.
sanctuary in the black church. So the drummer is the person that gives the spirit of the service. So how do you carry that overall spiritual responsibility into the studio when you produce for artists today?
Man, so my number one goal when I'm producing is to carry on my foundation, which is being an anointed musician, So when I'm making my music, I put it in my chords, man. That's kind of like the nucleus. That's kind of like the core, because those chords,
Mhm.
they evoke certain feelings, whether it's nostalgia or happiness or, I always want my music to be associated with a good energy,
Right.
So yeah, man, and of course, the church and the music is good energy, it's ultimately hoping is helping you get closer to God, but just the feeling, man, the feeling that the music gives you. So that's the main thing that I take with me whenever I'm producing music for artists.
Hey man, that's awesome and dope to hear, because music does carry a spiritual energy that can either uplift people or bring people down. And so I'm sure that when you're creating music, whether it's R&B, whether it's hip hop, whether it's gospel, whatever like is laid on your heart in the creative process, you're very intentional uh, about how you're developing your specific sound. Uh, I guess depending on that particular artist.
Right, yeah, for sure, most definitely. With the R&B stuff, man, I love smooth chords, man. That's kind of like my specialty, So, but even when I'm doing hip hop music, it's never the dark stuff, if that makes any sense. Like even with my hip hop production, it's still more of a good feeling that you'll get, whether I'm playing something original or sampling an old record from the 70s or the 80s or whatever the case may be. So yeah, for sure, man. I'm all about good energy and good music that make you feel good.
No, absolutely, and I definitely can relate to what you said about that music that makes you feel good. Just with my background and uh, from the entertainment industry and still dabbling in music myself, uh, frequency is very important. Um,
Sure.
People cannot lie to me when they say that, like, you know, the dark stuff, it can make you feel away. Um, I think you're close to around my age. Like I go back to the crunk era, uh,
Right.
and how things used to just pop off when
Yeah,
Lil Jon song came on.
lot of people got beat up at the club during that era, man. A lot of people.
Ridiculous, man. Goodness gracious, man. Like, but it, it moved you in a way, and
Right.
we can say the same thing even when you're like sitting in a church. Certain songs speak to you in a certain way.
Hmm.
Um, I found out because you mentioned your grandmother and how important your family is, and I know that uh, I'm familiar with a little bit of the area you come from and the stock that you come from. And you mentioned your grandmother earlier when we were talking. So your grandmother seems like a very huge cornerstone for you in general. So
Yeah, for sure.
when you're in a high pressure situation with like dealing with like a major star, like when you dealt with Summer Walker and her team, is there like a specific piece of spiritual wisdom that she gave you that kind of keeps you grounded on your feet?
Yeah, man, for sure, man. I mean, I remember being young and just realizing my grandma's position not only in the church but just in our community. I come from a small town
Mhm.
where at a point in time everybody knew everybody. It's kind of
Right.
changed up a little bit now with a lot of subdivisions being
Absolutely.
built and military moving in
Yeah.
because they're
Military.
not
Yep.
too far from Fort Bragg. But there was a point in time where Johnsonville was
Right.
through and through a real small town community where everybody knew everybody. So I would observe her position in the community, and she was just always somebody that people respected. People looked at her as the voice of reasoning and somebody that just kept her face good. uh so that's something that always stuck with me, man, even without her actually having to sit down and tell me certain things, which of course she did, but just off me watching her I would see, and I picked that up, man. So dealing with music, man, in the business, I'm real observant, man. And another thing about my grandma, man, she is tough as a man. Like, she stand on all 10. She not going for no nonsense at all. Um, and I carry that with me as well, because when it comes time for business and paperwork, it's like I know exactly what I'm supposed to get. So I'm not taking anything less. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, for sure, man. I definitely learned a lot from my grandma. Not just musically, but just also how to carry myself as a person.
No, absolutely. And just what I know, and I know a lot of things have changed since the last time I've had some like real actual dealings in it, like I used to. Um, the industry is the industry.
Yeah,
Um, and if you don't have, that toughness and that grit and that thick skin, um, it really doesn't matter what type of genre of music you're doing because the
yeah,
business side is going to be the business side. And let me just say this: uh, the gospel side of it is no different
okay,
because the
yeah,
business is still the business. You know what I mean?
right, right, for
Um,
sure.
so you have to be grounded.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, um, would you say that you have um a more like a physical relationship with music because of like your background and like playing the drums and being hands on?
Yeah, there's definitely a physical aspect to it for sure. And honestly, I mean, I would say that that's the foundation, because as far as my music journey, it started out being a drummer, you know. So yeah, definitely a physical aspect to it for sure. But even on a spiritual aspect, once I started getting a little bit more conscious of certain things, like that became a thing as well, because I think about being 6, 7, 8 years old, you're still innocent, still young, still sheltered from a lot of stuff, simply because you're young and, there's certain things you're not going through. But, I would get older and, man, there were times where spiritually music was the main thing getting me through, other than the faith, of course. But yeah, man, the physical aspect, it definitely starts with the drums, man. Or, even now, when I make my beats, man, a lot of times I'm more of a producer that likes to be on the keyboard.
Mhm.
There are some producers that work well on MPCs or more drum pad based hardware, but
Right.
I love stretching my hands on the keyboard, So yeah, the physicality is definitely a part of my music upbringing.
So let me ask. I mean, this is an off the cuff question. So I know we talked about the drums a little bit. So you can play the keyboard too, like actual play the keyboard like by ear, or can you read music?
I man, I like to tell people no, I can't play the keyboard. But when I say that, I mean I'm not fluent. I'm not somebody that can just sit down on the keys and just start playing stuff. I got so as far as my music, yeah, I play all my music, but
Mhm.
man, it may take me 5, 10 minutes to figure out a chord progression because I'm by ear going note for note, like, okay, like
Right.
this sounds good, So yeah, no, I don't
Mhm.
know theory at all. I never learned how to read music. If I could go back and change some things, that's definitely one thing that I would change is learning music at a early age from a reading standpoint. So I play 100% by ear, man. Which at the same time, that's definitely a gift, and it's something that I
Absolutely.
don't take for granted at all, because
Right.
sometimes I start impressing myself where I be like, man, like I really played those chords. That's crazy. I just sat there and figured it out. Just, from one little note, I can go find the rest of the notes that make the chord complete or, complete the chord that I'm trying to make. But yeah, man. Yeah, I never learned how to read, unfortunately, man. But at the same time, the cloth that I'm cut from, it's still in me. So, playing by ear, it hasn't been too bad.
Right. I'm gonna push back. If I feel like with the talent that you have and the success that you've had in these past couple years, man, personally I don't see why you couldn't still learn theory and how to read even at the age that you're at now. You
Yeah.
could if you really wanted to.
Well, man, I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you a story. When I was in college,
Mhm.
this may have been 2013 or so. So I was early 20, maybe 2021. Uh One year I took a class that was called Music Reading for Non-Majors, which is pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
Uh I took the class, man, and I just couldn't figure it out, man. I just couldn't get it. I don't know if it was the learning style or what it was, man, but I really couldn't figure it out. My knowledge stops at knowing the notes on the keyboard. Other than which
Okay.
I'm sure is very, very basic, but it stops there. So I remember we had a test and it was about like the circle of fifths or something like that. And man, it just everything looked like hieroglyphics on the on the
Right.
on
Right.
the paper to me because I'm like, man, I really, really can't get it. But my professor, man, he knew that I was really trying, and ultimately he made sure I passed the class. But I tried later on in life, man. I tried when I was about 20, 21, man. But it wasn't registering, man. But you know, again, it's not like it things didn't turn out how I wanted them to ultimately, but um I tried, man. I tried. I tried and I just couldn't figure it out, man.
Yeah,
It just wasn't registering in my mind, man. So you know, but music is it's a language, man. Like it's like
absolutely,
trying to learn a language, you know. It's very
absolutely.
complex, man. It runs deep, and I'm well aware of that, man. So, you know, circling back, you know, it's like, man, if I could go back when they put me on the drums, I wish I would have been forced to learn the piano as well. Cause my grandmother can read music. She can write music. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like she had notebooks and notebooks. I mean, I've found notebooks from the late '90s where you know if the gospel choir was learning a new song, she would write it out note for note. You know, like sheet music, which you know that blows my mind.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
um,
That's impressive.
yeah, it is, man, it is. And I just think I'm like, boy, if I knew how to read music, you know, on top of just you know having it by ear too, oh man, I
Hmm.
would have been like a little Mozart or something out here, man. But you know, but you know, but at the end of the day, man, playing the drums, you know, I love it, man, and uh that's my baby, man, right there. Just a drum set, man, and playing the drums. Like I love it so much. But yeah, man, I wish I would have formally learned how to read music, you know. But you know, it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. I have a motto that I always say it at the end of each broadcast. It's always remember, no matter how old you are, it's never too late. Uh,
Yeah, for sure.
it really is. So like, I'm putting that out. Uh, that I think that especially I learned as I've evolved and gotten a little older. Um, everything happens in due time in God's time.
Right.
So maybe it'll be that moment. When you get your first Grammy and you got not just a platinum plaque, but you got a couple diamond plaques.
Yeah.
And you got some time to just relax, and you take that whole year off, and you like, you know what? I'm gonna learn some music theory. You know what I mean? I'm gonna learn how to
Right.
actually write
Right.
music.
Right.
Remember what I said, and then 10 years from now, reflect
Yeah,
on
for
that, bro.
sure. Yeah, for sure. Most definitely.
But
Definitely ain't gonna count it out at all.
yeah, I think you can do it, man. You come too far to not being able to add something else to your arsenal. So you're gonna be
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's right.
You definitely gonna be
Yeah.
good. You're gonna be good. But so I saw that in my research. This has been almost like a decade in the making, roughly, right, or a little longer.
As far as working on music, as far as producing music,
Well, I'll say coming to the point of success that you've had in the last couple years.
uh man, to be honest, man, I say we're
Sure.
going on, man, we're going on about it was maybe 14, about 14 years or so.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Up until the
Hey,
point
but
where you know that I got the
yeah,
big one. Yeah, maybe 14 years or so.
no, absolutely. And I know when we're younger, we want things to happen like that, and
Yeah, yeah.
especially when we see like other our peers and the people around us shining, and we
Yeah.
trying to figure
Yeah.
out like why we stuck. And
Man.
let some of y'all on a secret. Know if you don't know, um, people lie. Uh, People lie too. A lot. There's a lot of people who stunt on Instagram, um, stunt on social media to give us the appearance as if they got it going on, and not telling all the steps and all the details of like how they got to this point, because it can be a journey, right? So you graduated from East Carolina in 2015, right?
Yes, sir.
But the platinum plaque didn't come until years later. So
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
think about your story, and I think about mine, and those who know, in the Bible, the number 40 often represents a period of testing and wilderness. So how did those years of like silent growth and grind in North Carolina, made in North Carolina, prepare your character for the noise of, of, of a little taste of this fame that you might be getting right now?
Man, that's actually a good question.
Mhm.
I think that, so once I graduated, man, quite naturally with music, especially, that this particular section of music, the R&B hip hop space, a lot of people would think, I have to go to Atlanta. I have to go to LA or just a big hub for music, which nothing wrong with that at all. You know what I'm saying? And, a lot of
Mhm.
people have made that pilgrimage and made it work, but I had no desire to leave, man. Once I graduated college, I was like, man, I don't want to go to Atlanta. I don't want to live anywhere but here,
Yep.
So but it was tough though, man, because I'm sure there are people looking at me crazy, like, man, you talented, but it ain't gonna happen here. You know what I'm saying? But regardless if people were thinking that or not, like I knew the desire that I had in my heart, so I'm like, man, I gotta make it shake from here. I have no other choice. I don't want to go anywhere else. I'm not going anywhere else. So, I have to prove to myself that I can make it shake from here. And it took a long time, man, between graduating and getting the Summer Walker song. That was 9 years, But as far on a personality level, man, like I'm real quiet, man. I'm an introvert. I don't like being in the mix. I don't like noise. I'm just a real country boy to the heart, man. I'm from Harnett County, man. So, um,
Shouts out to Harnett County.
yeah, for sure, man. Shout out to Harnett County, man. So I grew up, hearing the crickets every night, and
Yes, sir.
the pine trees and the dirt roads and
Hmm.
the fields, so that
Yep.
I kind of find solace and peace being in a quiet environment. So, once I did get to hit and, start doing a little bit more traveling, across the states to Atlanta, or, even going right down to Atlanta, which is a huge contrast compared
Of
to,
course.
where I'm from and where I grew up.
Hmm.
It still didn't phase me, because at the end of the day, I know who I am, So it's like, even though, I had the potential to jump ship and, go here or go there, it really didn't I wasn't impressed by it, as far as the exterior things going on outside of music. So, when I'm out there, man, it's kind of like, yo, I'm out there working, doing my thing, but I'm going back to North Carolina in X amount of days. Um, so yeah, man, as far as like being in the mix of the music industry, man, I'm not fully in there at all. Like, to be honest, I feel like a lone wolf sometimes because I really don't play the game, how one would probably think
I
I
got
should,
you. I got
but I kind of look at it like, and it's not an ego thing or me being boastful or anything, but it's like, man, I did what I said I was gonna do, man. I was gonna get one from here, and I did it. So it's like, in theory, what's stopping me from doing it again? You know? So, yeah, man, when I'm in LA, man, it's cool, meeting people and letting people actually, connect the face with the music and all that. But that stuff don't phase me, man. To be honest, I'd be ready to get back home after a couple days, regardless of where I'm at. I'm I'm 33 going on 60, man. I got a real got an old soul, man, so that stuff don't impress me at all, man.
No, I truly understand that. I remember my first time going to Cali was actually my honeymoon, my wife and I, and then I've been several times after that. Um, and I completely understand what you. I mean, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, for
exactly
sure.
what you think it is when you get there. If that makes
Right.
any sense, you
Right.
know, uh, especially when you're talking about LA and that area. Um, New York's another place, and places like Miami and ATL. They're exactly what you think they're gonna be. You know, to some respect when you get there. But so, and this is not even in my notes. This is a question just off the cuff a little bit. But I'm noticing that like more and more, especially like with Cole. 'Cause I know Cole. I think his main home is in Raleigh, if I'm not mistaken. Like that's like from what I understand,
Mm-hmm.
his main residence is in Raleigh. Then he's got the big joint going on in the Ville here soon. Um,
Mm-hmm.
why do you think like artists and producers, because I even see it even on a gospel level, like they stay grounded to North Carolina and not wanting to uh, live in these other, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
why do you think that is? Because it seems to, from what I see, that's like a common thread of like us being from this, state in particular. Like, it's like no
Right.
place like North Carolina. I don't care what nobody say.
Right. Yeah. Man, honestly, man, I think there's a lot of factors. One, like I was saying with me, as far as like I'm a real country boy, man. Like
I'm with you.
that's my environment. That's where I thrive. That's what
Absolutely.
I love. Like
Hmm.
to this day on Sundays, man, I'm at my uncle crib sitting on the porch. We watching the games, just chilling, man. I can't wait for springtime so we can just sit on the porch all night. Um, I think personality, and I think that plays a lot into it. And also, lifestyle as well. It's a little slower here. Even if you are in a Raleigh, it's not
It
as
is.
fast paced
Yeah,
as a LA, or even a Charlotte.
absolutely.
With
Yeah,
Charlotte being the biggest metro in North Carolina, it's still
right.
not like Los Angeles or Houston
It's
or
not.
Miami,
Hmm. Hmm.
Um
Hmm.
so I think that plays a part into it as well. And, even if, we get a little deeper into, how far you can let the money stretch, it's way different. And I'm sure a lot,
Absolutely.
especially with people being from here and, getting a taste of other places, it's probably like, oh man, I could go back to North Carolina and be good.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So yeah, man, I think those are some of the main factors, man. And on top of that, man, I don't know, it's just cool out here, man. To me, some people may look at it as boring or
Agreed.
it's not much to do or whatever, but that's exactly what I like. I like boring, you
There
know.
you go.
Um,
I feel you, bro.
yeah,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely, my brother. I feel that. And let me say this to the people. I be on Threads and on X. Uh, it, I be in a lot of with my algorithm talking about North Carolina this, North Carolina that, and transplants coming in talking about it's boring
Right.
and ain't nothing to do. Well, you know what? Respectfully, you can go back.
Yeah, for sure. Most
Hey,
definitely.
if you don't
Cause
like it
we
here,
ain't
you ain't
gonna we
gotta
ain't
stay
gonna
here.
miss you.
Like,
We ain't gonna miss you at
you know what I
all.
mean?
You know?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. North
sir.
Carolina ain't nothing like it. We got like some of the best weather, you know, in the country. Probably,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
you
we
might get some
experience all
snow.
four seasons. Yeah, we go through
You can
all
get
four
all four
seasons
seasons in the
generally.
same day.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
In the same day, you wake up, it's 30 degrees outside. By the time you going home, you in shorts.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's the the best of everything. But yeah, there's no place like it. But let me ask you this now. Like I said, you're successful. And I'm going to continue to say that no matter what level you're at right now, you're successful, and you're going to continue to be successful. That's
Thank you,
what I
my
see,
man.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You're successful, man. Um, so are there any like placements or syncs that you've done or have going on right now?
Man, not at the moment, other than Heart of a Woman. We got a few syncs here and there. Surprisingly,
Can
it
you speak
hasn't
on
been a
some of them?
lot. Man, we did one for St. Jude's Hospital. I
Okay.
think that was the most recent one. Uh, I think we got pitched for a TV show called Love Is Blind. That's pretty popular. A lot of the
Yeah.
lot of the women love that show.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if that went through, but we did get pitched for that recently. And there was another one we did, like the first one. I forgot what the first one was, but we got a few of those so far. But I'm expecting for those to just randomly pop up because Lord willing that Heart of a Woman to be a R&B standard where you'll hear it in 5 years just cause on the radio playing just because, you know what I'm saying? Like one of those songs that kind of
Yeah.
just stands the test of time and becomes timeless, which syncs would be a byproduct of that. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, but when I was first kind of like getting into my music being used and stuff, I had a lot of syncs back when I was graduating college. Uh, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, a few other TV shows,
Oh, you had to
Bad
sync
Girls
with
Club.
with Kim K and them.
Yeah, I had a sync on
Okay,
there, man. Bad Girls Club, few
okay.
other TV shows, man. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but that was 11 years ago now,
Wow.
But it was cool though, because I'm like, man, like I got some instrumentals playing in the background of this TV show, But
I'm glad you explained that. I
yeah.
was going to ask you to explain what a sync was to people who didn't know, but I'm glad you said that.
Oh yeah. Basically, just the you know, music being paired
Background
with
music.
the audio, yeah, background music for the visual, commercials, TV shows, all that stuff. But yeah, man, which that was cool. But
Mhm.
I'm hoping Heart of a Woman to get synced in some bigger stuff, sooner than later, like some I don't know, some Tyler Perry movies or some black romantic comedy somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Which I could see it happening eventually,
I, you know what? I wouldn't have thought about until you said that. I could definitely see Heart of a Woman in a Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Most
could
definitely.
definitely see that. Man, that shout out to Tyler Perry, Mr. Perry, if you're watching. Well, this
Yeah.
gets to you.
Right. Hey man, I know you heard the song.
Yeah, he
I ain't
heard the
even worried
song.
about that. I know you heard the song, so
Grammy
man,
nominated platinum. Yeah. So
go
man,
ahead
you
and hit
been
us up, man. Let's go and get that sync paperwork in order, man.
there we go. There we go. And let them know where you heard this announcement first. So yeah. Once again,
Yes,
we're talking
sir.
to the good brother Tavaras Jordan, platinum recording producer, Grammy nominated. We have him on right now on Late Night Talks with Pastor Chris Austin. We do this every Saturday at 10 p.m. We thank y'all for tapping in. You've mentioned so would you say that when God, how do I phrase it? When you get an idea or inspiration, um, is it divine or like in the creative process? Is it like a God move? Um, is it all you? How would you define your creative process?
I mean, I would definitely say it's divine because,
Mhm.
again, man, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I don't, man, I can play a chord and it
All
could be
praise.
a
Yes.
diminished seventh or whatever. And man, you can explain all the technical stuff to me and I wouldn't know what you're talking about. Like all of this
Hmm.
is purely off my ear. You know what I'm saying? So, but where does that come from? You know what I'm saying? So it's
True.
like, I really feel like it's divine for sure, bro. No question, man. And that's why I try to use my gift to my to its maximum potential, man, and not play around with it and really take this as far as I can. Because I don't take it for granted, man. Some people aren't blessed, like even in this music space, man. A lot of people don't get blessed to have a radio smash that end up becoming 2 times Grammy nominated and
True.
platinum within a
True.
year and some change.
True,
I'm
man.
very aware that this is it's put me in an elite class, but
It does, man.
I'm very thankful, bro, and I don't take it for granted, man. And but yeah, man, I feel like anything I do musically is divine, because man, I've started recently doing this thing where I could hum a bass line. I'll hum a bass line, I'll lay the bass line out, and start building from there. Build some chords from there, and a bridge or B sections or whatever. And I just, it's really a trip because it's like, man, all this started with a 4-bar bass line I had in my head. But it's like, how do I do that? The only explanation I could think of is divine intervention. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, man.
A- Absolutely. I mean, you were definitely. from what you said, you are speaking in from a late perspective, and I'm about to put you over in divine. The last person that I remember saying something to what you just said was MJ himself. I think in his creative process, he would kind of do the same thing. He would, things would come to him. Michael Jackson, he would start to hum things, and then the kick would come, and then the snare would come.
Yeah.
Hey, so hey man, you're in a divine elite creative space right now, man. So that second platinum plaque is coming. That third platinum plaque is coming. Those quadruple Grammys, not nominations, but we're going for Grammys at this point. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah, man.
it's all gonna come together, man.
we're gonna speak it into existence, man. You know,
Oh,
I'm
we are, and when you do, all I'm asking is don't be so big that I can't get another interview. That's all I'm saying.
oh
So,
yeah,
hey,
nah, you good, man.
don't forget about humble beginners, man. Holla at your boy
Yeah,
Pastor Chris
nah.
again, man.
Don't even worry about it, man. We locked
I
in, bro. Don't even trip.
appreciate
We
you, brother.
good.
Appreciate you. But
Yes, sir.
so I'm familiar with the story of how Heart of a Woman, the beat was found um on YouTube. So I'm familiar with the story. But do you mind just kind of like going through that process of how like Summers people reached out and how this, you know, how this song became such a big blessing in your life?
Yeah, yeah, man. So I mean, I'll go back further than that.
Go ahead.
Uh, I made that beat in August of 2022. Um,
Oh wow.
yeah, man. August 2022. It was just another day making beats. A little bit before that, maybe like it may have been that same month or a month prior. I had just
Mhm.
made the conscious decision where I'm like, all right, I'm getting ready to focus on making R&B music. But not only that, I'm gonna make the R&B music that I came up listening to. So the whole 90s, early 2000s R&B sound, I was like, that's getting ready to be my pocket.
Mhm.
Um, which, it really wasn't a hard transition because I was already doing stuff on the more melodic, smooth side anyway, on top of having the gospel background. So it
Mhm.
was really a seamless transition for real. But yeah, man, I made that beat August 2022, threw it on YouTube. It sat on YouTube for like 2 years.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it was my most viewed beat on YouTube. I think at the time when Summer found it, it was at maybe like 250,000 views, give or take, somewhere around there.
Wow.
Um, yeah, man. So fast forward to August 2024. That's 2 years after I made the beat. August 2024, one of my homies in Cali DM me on Instagram and said, hey man, check out this Summer Walker reel. This sound like some of the beats you be making, man. You need to try to work with her.
Mhm.
So I'm like, all right. Mind you, it was like a Friday night, man. I'm in Charlotte kicking it with my homeboy, but we ended up just chilling that night. We didn't get into much. So I'm making my last little rounds, checking social media before I go to sleep. Cause it's like, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. May have been a little later. So uh I'm like, all right, let me check out the reel. I clicked on the reel. As soon as the bass slide came in, the beat hadn't even dropped yet. As soon as the bass slide came in, I'm like, oh, that's me. And then when the beat dropped, I mean, of course, instantly I'm like, nah, that's me for real. Like, this is really my beat. Like, this is crazy. So my homeboy just hit me on some trying to be a good friend suggestion. Hey man, you should try to work with Summer Walker. Whole time, man, I am working with with Summer Walker.
That's
Unbeknownst
crazy.
to me. So
Right. Right.
yeah, man. So that was like a Friday night, man. But the Instagram reel went crazy. I mean, it went crazy,
Mhm.
man. It went viral. All her fans were commenting on it, loving it, telling her, "Hey, you need to drop this right now." Uh, because at the time it had been a while since it had been a while since Summer had dropped a project. Um, so it was kind of in like a little gray area, like in between projects. So man, her fans pretty much forced her to put that song out, man.
Wow.
But she dropped the Instagram reel. Then the next day, uh, one of the one of the people from her label reached out to me on Instagram. Um, and once he reached out, uh, man, we pretty much started talking business instantly. As if they knew for sure, like, yeah, we gonna put this song out. So yeah, man. I mean, it was. I hate to make it seem like a quick process, but that was the initial part was super quick. As far as she put out the reel, very next day her label
Yeah.
reached out to me, and from there it took maybe 2 months of just back and forth in the email chain with my lawyer and then her lawyers and her team. Like all that stuff took a little while, but yeah, they reached out instantly, man. So yeah, once they reached out, I went and found an entertainment lawyer, man, and yeah, they got to work. They got to work. And it's crazy because, the duration between her putting out the Instagram reel and the release of the record was only 2.5 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. So it came out fairly quickly, man.
That's very fast.
Yeah, yeah. And then,
Oh,
and not only that, it's the lead single for the album, that, didn't
yeah,
end up
yeah.
dropping for another year. But,
Hmm.
man, it was crazy, man. Like that was a crazy time. I still think about that to this day. Like I didn't go to sleep that night, man, when I saw the reel. Cause
I bet.
I mean, it was a trip, man. It was really a trip. Cause
Right.
I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like Summer Walker, she's a A-list R&B goddess. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like it was really a trip, man, to finally have that moment where it's like, okay, somebody from the top tier has recognized me. You know what I'm saying? At least to the point where they were like, nah, I need to record a song on this beat. Um, so yeah, man, I didn't go to sleep that night, man. I was calling anybody I thought that might have been up. Mind you, like I said, it's almost 12 o'clock. So, 1, 2 o'clock, I'm tripping, man. I'm just like, man, I can't believe this. Summer Walker she got a song to one of my beats. I mean, man, I'm calling anybody I think would be up, man. Just telling everybody I knew. And, but also I kind of went through like we were talking about fear and anxiety earlier.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of had like this fear or this anxiety that maybe the record won't come out. Because in the
Hmm.
producer community, a lot of producers can relate to a snippet coming out from, whatever artist. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the song is going to see the light of day
Very
or
true.
actually be released, as a single, let alone on a project. So, uh, but man, shout out to God, man. He made that thing happen for you, boy. Because
Yes,
two
yes,
months
yes.
later, I had my very first major label placement, man. So yeah, yeah. So that's how that went, man. But it started on YouTube, man. I didn't know anybody over there. I didn't have a manager that was connecting me with this person or that person. It kind of just fell in my lap. But it fell in my lap from me doing the work for that to happen, you know. So, when I explain to people it fell in my lap, I don't, want to make it just seem as if I wasn't doing anything and,
Of course.
but I had been putting beats on YouTube and I had a very niche uh YouTube page. Well, I still do, but I was at that particular time, I was doing almost exclusively 90s R&B type beats or 2000s R&B type beats. And I
Mhm.
was posting beats online so much where if you were to type in 90s R&B type beat or 2000s R&B type beat, I was one of the
Algorithm.
first YouTube. Yeah, I was in that algorithm. I was one of the
Yeah.
first channels popping up within like the first two,
Mhm.
3 channels. Um, so, but and then 90s R&B type beat. That's a pretty, it's niche, but it's still pretty broad at the same time. Because you can get some Jodeci sound and stuff, or some R. Kelly sound and stuff, or some Drew Hill sound and stuff, or some
Right.
Genuine sound and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It can
Mhm.
kind of, you can subgroup it from there. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, I just worked my way in that algorithm, man, and I guess one day she was just on YouTube, like, man, I'm about to find me some 90s R&B type beats or something, man. Man, she heard that beat, man, and but I even look at it even on a deeper level, like, so even at that time, 2 years ago, man, Summer Walker was who she is, even at that time. So, which wasn't that long ago, but I'm saying all that to say, man, she could have got beats from Brian Michael Cox, Jermaine Dupri, Jonte Austin, you name it, anybody, man. Any of the heavy hitters that's been around 20, 30 years, any of the heavy hitters that's super fresh and new in the game that everybody want to work with. And she chose my little old beat. You know what I'm saying? But it was also like confirmation, like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I knew this music was
Absolutely.
fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I,
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
I had what it take to work with the best of the
Mhm.
best. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, and it's like, man, like I know that I know with her being a not only an artist but a songwriter,
Mhm.
I knew that music spoke to her. I knew it hit her soul because from her perspective, who am I? I'm just somebody that made a beat she found on YouTube, but it's actually deeper than that because again, she could work with whoever she pleased, and she found my beat and was like, nah, this the one, and we gonna release this as a single. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
man, again, man, it was confirmation to me that I knew everything I've been doing all this time was the right path.
Man, man, that's a great story. I mean, because so many times, especially when we on the come up and we're grinding, trying to chase our dreams, or whether we have a vision that that God has placed inside of it. We face so many obstacles, and that I think that waiting
Right.
period is like the hardest part of it, man. Like I said,
Man.
when we see everybody kind of passing us by, our
Yeah.
timing never lines up. It's always got to be God's perfect timing. And you said something very, very interesting. That she chose little old you because it was the time. It was the time for that to happen.
Yeah.
And just in that, look at what God did for you. You got
Right.
platinum plaques off one song,
Yeah. Yeah.
2 Grammy nominations off one
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
How many people can say that? How many people can
Right.
say that from where we're from?
Right. Right. Right.
You know
Exactly,
what I mean?
man. Yeah. 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 It's like I got everything I wanted with one record, and it's a trip because it's like, man, it all started happening so fast once it happened. But it's funny because it's like, man, I look back like, man, it took a long time, man. And, a lot of people, unfortunately won't know the backstory. They'll just hear the music and just think I got it going on or whatever, or whatever they may think. But it's like, man, they don't know, man. Going to choir rehearsal two nights a week for 15, 20 plus years, and
Right.
making beats every day from 10th grade all the way to adulthood, and working a job and trying to figure it out, and things seeming like it's not going anywhere, and you know what I'm saying, like, man, they have no idea, man. But all of that built character, man, and ultimately it helped me prepare for that particular moment. um and even on the music side, man, it kind of let me know I'm ahead of the curve because I'm like, oh man, I made this beat 2 years ago. At the time when she released it,
Mhm.
I'm like, man, they don't even know I made this beat 2 years ago. This
Right.
not something that I just put on YouTube a couple months back,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
super fresh. Like, man. So in
Right.
my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, well, in theory, the stuff that I'm making is still gonna sound good 2, 3 years from now. You know what I'm saying? So which, that's pretty cool too, just to kind of know, like, man, I got old stuff that'll go right now, So yeah, man. Yeah, getting that record, man, it was a life changer. It was a blessing. It was a lesson, and I'm glad I never gave up, man. That was another thing too, man. I even in my worst time, or my time of feeling the lowest, or things seeming like it wasn't panning out the way I wanted it to, the thought of quitting never crept up in my mind, man. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm delusional. Maybe because I looked at it like, man, I put in all this work, man. Ain't no way I'm turning around or giving up, because I pretty much sacrificed everything for this, man. Uh, but I'm glad I never gave up though, man, and you know finally was able
Yeah.
to make something where it was like, uh because like my family, man, they've always been supportive, man. My family never discouraged me or like made me feel minuscule or less than because I didn't have, big songs or whatever. But once I got that big one, man, it was just so cool, man. My grandma getting calls. Hey, I heard your grandson got a song on the radio, and people talking to my mama and my sister. Yeah, I heard
Right.
that song Tavaras did. I know that makes them super proud, and like I'm glad I was able to do that. And again, not saying they weren't proud of me prior to that, because of course they were. Even what I was doing on the independent or underground side, they knew that I was talented, and they could see it. But to get one of those records, man, man, it mean everything, man, for them to see that, man.
I like what you said, to get one of those things. And let me do this really quick before we move on and transition a little bit. I want to give a shout out to all my family that's watching, my mother, my father, cousins, family, those who'll be watching on demand. Give a big shout out to Sister McKinnis. How are you, my friend? Thank you for tapping in this evening. This is Late Night Talks with Pastor Chris Austin, interviewing the good brother Tavaras Jordan,
Yes,
platinum
sir.
producer, Grammy nominated. This is what we do every Saturday at 10 p.m. So you said you talked about getting one of those. We're talking about that platinum plaque. So when you finally held that platinum plaque, because I saw the picture on Facebook. I don't know where you are, where you were. You were by Bishop Moore though, and you were at a church. I saw you holding that platinum plaque, taking a picture at a church for something, and you had that platinum plaque in your hand. Uh, did it feel like a trophy for you? Was there like a spiritual heavyweight? Was did a relief? Were you happy? How did you feel knowing that, holding that platinum plaque, looking back where God has brought you? How did that make you feel just holding it?
Yeah, man. So that plaque in particular was actually the gold plaque that I had got for the
That was the
record.
golden. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that was the the to be honest
Still,
with you, I'm still waiting on the platinum plaque. I'm waiting for that in the mail. I'm waiting for that any day now. But at that
oh
time
wow,
we had hit gold at that time when I took the
wow.
picture at church, man. Man, you know what? Man, to be honest, I kind of had mixed feelings about it, only because my personality, man. Like, man, I'm low key, man. I don't like the limelight. I don't want to seem like I'm doing better than anybody. I don't like
Absolutely,
seeming as if I'm stunting on people, as if you know what I'm saying? So
I understand.
being at the front of the stage, even if it's just being recognized for something, I struggle with it, man. I really do, because it's like I don't do it for that. And just being honest, some people do. Some people want to.
That's
Some
true.
people
Yep.
their motive is the limelight and being praised and being recognized, and But none of that stuff, not to say it doesn't matter, but it's like, man, I just really love music, man. Like, and I just always want to make the best music possible and do it at the highest level. Um, but it was cool. It was cool though, man. It was cool. Like my cousin, she actually made me bring the plaque to church. Cause if it was up to me, I wouldn't have brought the plaque to church, and I wouldn't have, told people what I had going on. But my cousin, she looking at it like, nah, you from Johnsonville, you got this going on. We about to recognize you. Bring that plaque to church tomorrow.
Right.
So yeah, man. So it was, I'm happy and I'm thankful that, I'm able to make my people proud and stuff. But, on the other hand, it's like, man, I don't want people thinking I'm trying to stun on them or nothing, man. But ultimately though, man, it felt good. But as far as the plaque is concerned, I got the most joy showing it to my grandma, man, showing it to my people, like the ones that really put in that work and the ones that really planted the seed way before I could even consciously know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Because, just again, bro, just think I'm on the drums at 6 years old. I'm in first grade, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm so innocent and not knowing anything about the world, but I'm starting with, this music is here at that point in time. So to go from there to now and, be able to show my grandma that plaque and show my mama and my sister, man, that meant the world, man, because they were the ones that were there. So, yeah.
I definitely understand that. So again, I just like the fact that you keep God and family first, because that's an integral uh, part of your makeup, and keeps you firm and solid. So dealing with, like, because even though it was a long journey, and it seemed like things kind of escalated quickly with the hit record. Um, how do you maintain morals and integrity in an industry that can be built on clout and sometimes phoniness and deception?
Yeah.
I bet I
Uh
know your answer though.
yeah, I mean, man, I deal with it by dealing with by dealing with it how I've done anything else in life, man. Whether
Mhm.
it was going through school or working a job, just being myself, man. I'm not a deceitful person. I'm not a person that has negative ulterior motives. I'm not a person that's consumed by greed or wanting to be in the spotlight. Like, man, I be chilling. Man, I be chilling. So a lot of that stuff, man, it skips me, fortunately, with me not really wanting to indulge. And ultimately, bro, like, I just want to be a good person, man. I want to keep my face good. I want to be around 20 years
Right.
from now and probably get a crazy opportunity because such and such remember how cool I was to them. You know what I'm saying? So the industry, man, and a lot of the negative stuff that come with it, it's not something that interests me. So to be honest, it's fairly easy, man. I kind of look at, and not comparing myself to J. Cole at all, but like I look at somebody of his caliber as far as where he is as an artist. He's an A-list artist, but he move around like a regular dude because the industry stuff doesn't interest him, you know? But all that is because of who he is within, and he know who he is within. And it's the same for me, man. Like I really don't care for it, even if, it may have things seem larger than life or provide the smoke and mirrors. Like I mean, I want everything to be authentic as possible. Um, so man, it's fairly easy for me, man, to keep my morals and my integrity and stuff because I know who I am, and I really don't feel the need to compromise it for anybody for another. Fairly easy for me, bro. To be honest.
Got you. I think we're having some technical difficulties on your end. You're kind of going in and out.
Okay.
but it's
Okay,
all
my bad.
good. We
My
can hear
bad.
you though. We can hear you. No, it's all good. We can hear you. We can hear you. So let me ask you this, because we're almost about to wrap up here in a second. Um, I was gonna play something for you. Let's see if I can get it to play real quick. But you mentioned Cole, and I said it earlier. Like I just think that the state that we're in, um, we here in North Carolina, we just have a different way of moving and a different way of navigating, life. And I was kind of the same way earlier in my career when dealing and meeting different celebrities in the industry. You have to treat people like they're people.
Right.
No one's bigger or greater than the next person. You know what I mean? So let me ask this, and I'm sure that you got one, being that you have, your foundation is rooted from the church. Um, what's one scripture that you keep with you?
Man, one scripture that I keep with me, man. And I hate to be cliche, man, because I'm gonna
Okay,
be all the way I'm gonna be all the way transparent.
go ahead.
I'm not as well versed in my Bible as I should be.
It's okay.
But Psalm 23, as far as the black household,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that's been embedded in us since day one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to just hear, not crazy, but it's interesting to hear something all your life, especially when you're younger and you're not really knowing what it means because you haven't really experienced life, to a certain degree. But man, the older I get, the more I realize how important that scripture is, man. Cause man, you gotta walk with him, man. You gotta have him with you. Cause it's treacherous out here, man, in this world, not just music, but just dealing with life in general, man. Um, but but yeah, I do need to get in my Bible though, Chris. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not as well versed as I should be, man. But Psalm 23, man, that's something that I'm glad I grew up with it and it was just instilled in me. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
later on in life, being a grown man and being able to actually understand it and apply it to life, man, it's something that I keep with me for sure.
But let me say this, man. You'll as you continue to grow and evolve, man, there'll come a time in your life that, like I kind of, challenged you on earlier, as far as like, going back up and picking up that skill that you wanted to learn, what you were, if you would have locked in when you were younger. There will be that time in your life when that time will come for you to lock back in and tap
Yeah.
back into the word. So, um, I've never been one ever, to be critical or judge someone on what they don't know, but always meeting people where they at, because I'm still learning myself.
Right.
And that's just in life. We're all still learning. I think the worst thing that a human being could ever do, and you can even speak to this in music, is to pretend as if you know everything.
Right.
Because that's
Yeah. For
a
sure.
turn off from people. Just period. It's a turn off.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So we all here to grow together. But I want to leave this with you. I hope you're going to be able to hear this. I had my guest on last week is also an artist. He's an upcoming gospel artist. He does what's called, he calls his style gospel soul. So kind of like a blend of like gospel music and on R&B sound. Uh,
Okay.
his name is Gregory Dunn, uh, from Silas City. He lives in Smithfield now, if I'm not mistaken. Johnston County, Smithfield, somewhere in that area. But
Okay,
anyway,
gotcha.
uh, he had a message to leave to you, because what we do at Late Night Talks with Pastor Chris Austin, every Saturday at 10, is I always have the guest to leave a word for the next guest.
Okay.
And that word, I'm not asking you to preach a sermon, but just something motivating and encouraging. So here's what he left for you on last week.
Okay.
So I hope you're able to hear.
Gotcha.
Here we go.
Got two verses. They're gonna pair together. Hopefully
Go
they'll
ahead.
be easy to remember. Psalms 30:5. For his anger is but for a moment, his favor is for life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And Proverbs 30:5. Every word of God is pure. He is a shield to those who put their trust in him. I think it's very important to read and let the word just kind of marinate. I don't want to take anything away from that, but those are two powerful verses. It's interesting that they're both numbered the same 30:5, Psalm 30:5 and Proverbs 30:5. Um, and a lot of times when we read the Psalm 30:5, we put the emphasis more so on the weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I think the emphasis that I'm going to put on today is more on the Proverbs side, on the 30:5. Every word of God is pure. He is a shield to those who put their trust in him. So whenever you see a promise in the word of God, that promise is pure and that promise is sure, meaning that if God made a promise, it's going to come to pass. He's going to protect you. He's going to cover you. He's going to keep you. He's going to lead you. He is going to guide you. And that word pure is actually a word that means tested or proven. So this word has been put to the test. It's been proven. There have been people who've experienced similar situations to what you have. They've gone through similar things, and the word of the Lord has come through for them, and it'll come through for you too. So just keep that in mind.
How you feel about that, sir?
Yes, sir, man. Now that's awesome, man. That's awesome, and he absolutely right, man. It's kind of like that saying where it's nothing new under the sun. Under the
Mm-hmm.
sun,
Mm-hmm.
like anything you going through, man. Somebody done been there and done that, man, and you know, people have overcame worse, So definitely like that word, man, from the brother, man. I appreciate him for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I'd ask you to do the same, man. What could you say?
Okay,
We'll start it like this. First, what I want you to as we kind of wrap up and close, if you can answer this question, what do you want your legacy to be?
man. That's a very great question, man.
Mhm.
I want my legacy to be uh people knowing that I put my life's work into this music to inspire other people, not just, a country boy from some other small town, but it could be somebody from another part of the world, man, to just follow the dream, and of course, that's stuff that we hear from childhood, but it's like, man, it really can come true. It may not happen when you think it should, but I'm a living testimony, man. Like it took me till I was 32 years old to get that one record that I felt like, okay, this is it, because in my mind, I initially thought it was supposed to happen at 22,
Right.
but boy, was I wrong. but at the same time, man, I stayed tunnel vision, man. I didn't give up. I kept my faith in God, man. I kept my faith in knowing that this was my calling and everything worked out. So I want my legacy to be uh people knowing that my dreams came true. And these dreams ultimately are shifting culture. It's motivating people. It's encouraging people. That's my main thing, man. Because the cool thing about music, it's gonna outlive us all.
Absolutely.
So to be a part of that sector where I'm making music that's gonna be here well after me, man. It's deep, it's heavy, man. But at the same time, it's a great feeling knowing that I can leave my mark.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And who is that one artist? Maybe they're from North Carolina, or they could be from another part of the world or another part of this country. But who is that one artist, no matter the genre, that you feel a spiritual pull to work with next?
Mm, man, I want to say Chris Brown, man. Like I really want to work with
Okay,
Chris Brown.
okay.
That's because his first album was very important to me coming up as a kid.
Okay.
You know, because it's funny because I'm doing the R&B stuff now, but
Mhm,
it's always been in me. It's been in me the whole time.
mhm.
When I was riding around in my mama Toyota Corolla, listening to Usher and SWV and Drew Hill and Dave Hollister. Like, man, it's always been there, man. But Chris Brown's first album in particular, I remember being 13 when that came out and, just being infatuated with the production, man, listening to the chords and the drum programming, so, it would be a full circle moment, man, to work with him, because that's part of my generation. He a little older than
Right,
me, but
right.
we still
I got you.
from the same generation.
Mhm,
So, and
mhm.
he, as far as this generation of R&B, he's arguably the one,
Right.
Of course, there was some kings before him, and how this time thing go,
Mhm.
it's more than likely gonna be people after him. But as far as my generation, Chris Brown is the one, man. So it would be great to work with him, man.
All right, all right. So we'll go ahead and put it out there for you, Mr. Chris Brown. If you are watching on this podcast, little known podcast called Late Night Talk with Pastor Chris Austin comes your way, or someone sends you a link of this clip, please get at the good brother Tavaras Jordan at your convenience. We'll put it out in the atmosphere right now. See what happens in Jesus' name. So
Yes,
before we
sir.
close, brother, um, if you don't mind, give a motivating word of encouragement to the next guest, however you feel led to do so, man.
Yes, sir. Man, one thing I want to say is don't sleep on the gift that God gave you. Um, I'm sure there's a lot of people that may have had big dreams and, you know, unfortunate circumstances kept them from getting there. And I'm sure there's more of those stories than the actual success stories or what one would call success. But man, whatever it is that you have on your mind and whatever desire you have in your heart, take the proper steps and the proper protocol to get there. And a lot of times it's going to be easier said than done, but this life thing, man, this ain't no video game. We not regenerating once it's over. So I look at it like, man, while we here, whatever calling or whatever gift or whatever passion that you have, man, you have to go for it because you never know who else you're inspiring. I mean, because I look at somebody like me, man. There's certain people that'll reach out to me online, and little did I know they've been listening to me for years, and they're just infatuated with how I put my beats together, and they listen to my music on their break, and it helped them get through work. Just little stuff like that, man. You never know who you're affecting with your gift. Um, so don't sleep on that gift that God gave you.
Man, I like that. I love you. Thank you, my brother, for that word of encouragement. We thank everybody for this evening. See, it went fast, man. Relatively easy, man. Man, it was
Oh
good
yeah.
talking to you, sir,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Good
Good talk,
seeing
man.
you.
Good talk.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
definitely
sir.
been a pleasure. Tavares, man. Your journey proves that when you honor the gift, when you honor God, when you honor the giver, He will open doors that no man can shut. So I appreciate you for your transparency tonight, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. A platinum producer, uh, uh, gold to platinum producer, Grammy nominated producer, Johnsonville, North Carolina's son, Tavares Jordan. Keep watching, keep dreaming. And as I always say, it's never too late to start over. Peace and blessings, y'all. Love you
My
all with
man.
the love of God. Y'all take care and have a great rest of your evening.
And that's all for tonight. Thank you for joining us on Late Night Talks with Pastor Chris Alston. Good night.